I've always wanted to be that type of streamer that people say, I had a bad day. Let me go to Pat's stream.
How you doing? You right?
I'm doing good, Elena. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I was a bit ill this afternoon, but I'm feeling a lot better now. A bit more with it. So
Perfect. Wonderful.
Having a camera issue. It's gone to about 4 million degrees of brightness. But we're just going to go with it. Just going to roll with it. So I'm bright pink today. And without further ado, let's ask you some questions. Let's find out a bit about you. What is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, it's going to be pretty basic. Pepperoni pizza. Oh, I'm a huge pizza guy, so definitely pepperoni pizza would be my favorite meal. Pretty basic, but anytime pizza is on the menu, 100% normally going to grab it.
Is there anything else on this pepperoni pizza, or is it just cheese, tomato, and pepperoni?
The only other thing I would add on it, I do sometimes like to add a little bit of bacon, so I would love to. I usually get some pepperoni and bacon at times when I order a pizza.
That sounds gorgeous. Really, I just realised the music's still playing. Let's stop that. Yeah, no, I'm a big pizza fan. I'm not a big pepperoni fan. Like, whenever I say to anybody, suggest an ingredient, suggest a topping for my pizza, people are always like, let's have pepperoni, and I'm like, do we have to? Like, I don't know. It's just, I find that pepperoni it's very, when you have pepperoni on your pizza tastes of pepperoni, right? It's there's no disguising that.
I love pepperoni, but if there have been some pizza places that douse the pizza in pepperoni, and that's when it's a no-go for me. If it's like a good amount of pepperoni, it's excellent. But if it's literally the entire thing is just covered in pepperoni, then I take them off and put them to the side and
maybe I'm just
eat them later.
Some bad pizza places then. Because that's every pepperoni pizza to me. It's doused, as you so wonderfully called it.
It's quite possible then, because there are some pizza places that know that it's just right, just the right amount is fine.
Yeah. It's a sporadic pepperoni pizza. Are you a tea or coffee person?
I am neither. I am actually, I'm normally, if I do decide to get a wake me up, it's a energy drink normally, but I don't go too crazy with those. But
is that would be my drink thing, or is that just a no tea or coffee?
I've tried coffee. I don't mind coffee, but it doesn't normally sit well with my stomach, so I don't really mess around with coffee too much. Tea, not a big fan of tea.
I wish I had those kind of brains. Coffee doesn't sit well with my stomach either, so I drink it too often. So what is your favorite non-alcoholic drink of choice on a regular day?
Non-alcoholic drink is probably a Dr. Pepper.
Fantastic choice. And what about alcohol? I mean, it's fair to say alcohol features a small amount on your stream.
Yes.
What is your alcoholic beverage of choice?
Margarita, hands down, easily.
Yeah.
Big fan of tequila. So, love my margs.
Is this a homemade margarita?
So I haven't done it yet. I should. As you said, a lot of my streams feature alcohol. So one day I will possibly make some margaritas and see where the night takes us.
That sounds good. So can you buy it like pre-mixed, or is this sort of something you'd only have if you go out to a bar, for example? I
don't really trust too much of the pre-mixed stuff, only because it'll probably be too sweet and filled with too much sugar. And I don't want to wake up the next day with a horrible stomach ache.
Right, so I would worse than a sweet margarita.
Definitely.
It's a mess.
It's just a mixture, and it's disgusting. I've had margaritas that are too sweet and they're gross. So I would probably test it homemade, probably get some Casamigos or Patron and make it myself and see how it goes.
Patron's my jam. Speaking of coffee, if it doesn't sit well with your stomach but you don't mind the flavor, Patron, make a Patron XO Cafe, which is like a deep espresso flavor. Yeah, that thing is gorgeous.
I do like Patron Cafe. I'm not gonna lie. Patron Cafe is pretty good. I don't mind that.
That is a drink. If you made your own cocktail, what would you call it?
So what's kind of funny that you asked that is I'm currently in the process of thinking of one, because next year I'm getting married and we have to come up with our own cocktails. So I guess.
By the way.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Right.
I'm guessing since it's a Christmas theme, so maybe kind of like some type of peppermint margarita,
Mm-hmm.
possibly kind of. So something like that if I had to come up one. I'm also a big fan of this there's this drink called Tang.
Oh yeah.
So something like that. There is a place over here that makes an alcoholic version of that,
What was
but
that?
I
What did
would
you call
like
it?
to
Ting.
Tang,
Tang.
Tang.
Oh, I know a ting. I don't know a tang.
So it's like an orange juice drink back in the like in the 90s when we were kids.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking of something like that as well. So probably something like that would be my own
And you just
concoction.
call it what it is, so like a peppermint margarita, for example, or.
Yeah,
Oh,
or a
okay.
Tang. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a tequila cocktail that I made back in a bar that I worked at called the Tequila Mockingbird. Um, and this was a gin, and instead of it was basically a margarita. So it was a tequila, and instead of using sweet and sour mix, I used grapefruit soda.
Mhm.
That was a thing. That was the thing. It was like it was yeah. No, ironically, the grapefruit soda we used was called Ting. That's why I was really intrigued. But Ting Tang, no, not quite the same thing.
It
Um,
sounds really good. Something I would
it
like. I
was
would love to try sometime.
deadly, deadly. You couldn't taste the alcohol. You could taste the tequila, but you didn't get that alcoholic kick. It just went down like
No,
fruit
no.
juice. It was yeah, dangerous stuff.
Yeah, it sounds very dangerous. Sounds like I'll get up and fall and not fall over, but like, oh,
Yeah, one of
well,
those.
very drunk here.
Moving on to slightly more contentious ground. Movies. What is your favorite film of all time?
I haven't been asked this question before. Um, for me, it's a tough question because I'm such a big fan of so many genres. But if I had to pick a go-to that I normally, if it's always on, I will sit down and watch it, and that's Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. What a brilliant
Yes,
film. Brilliant
I
film. What is it
love.
about Forrest Gump that you enjoy so much?
I think it was so just it was my childhood. Like going back, I laugh at a lot of the stuff that was in the movie that I did not understand as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
All the things about like what Jenny went through as a kid. Like I didn't understand that obviously
Yeah.
until I got older. A lot of the drug stuff that was going on, the
Mm-hmm.
thing with AIDS, the thing about the war. Like I didn't
Yeah.
understand that stuff, and I just thought that this man was real. Like
Yeah.
Forrest Gump was a real person that existed through all this stuff, but
Oh.
obviously it's
Yeah.
very fictional. So
Yeah, but there's a lot of pop culture references, aren't there, within it, and sort
yeah,
of what's going on, and yeah.
I think what I love about the most is I don't hear too many people talk about it is Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan's relationship
Mm-hmm.
during that sequence with like the shrimping and just to see like Lieutenant Dan go from a guy who was suffering from such major PTSD and just kind of have that all go away when he was with Forrest and just to see their friendship kind of develop during that time period, I thought was awesome. And I think Jenny's an asshole, but
Me too.
but
Yeah.
that was such a heartfelt moment throughout that whole movie to
Yeah,
see
it's a real
their
film of death,
friendship.
isn't it?
Yeah,
There's so much
yeah.
to it.
And Tom Hanks is brilliant in the movie too. So
Speaking of Tom Hanks, do you have a favorite actor?
favorite actor, I guess probably not really too much, but yeah, I guess I would probably say Tom Hanks because he is in a lot of the movies I do
Mm.
quite enjoy, like the one where he got lost. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. There's the Green Mile. There's Castaway. There we go,
Castaway.
Castaway.
Yeah, Castaway's
So
fantastic.
yeah, he's in a lot of films that I really enjoy. So I probably would say Tom Hanks.
Yeah. And what about actress? Is there a female actress that stands out to you?
I mean, I was probably Scarlett Johansson, probably more
yeah.
so for like I'm a big Marvel fan, so of course she's the Black Widow. So I'd probably say Scarlett Johansson.
She's in a lot of
As
brilliant
mine.
movies, isn't she? So
Yeah, and also Salma Hayek. I was a huge fan of. I mean,
I don't think I've seen
if
that.
you ever seen if you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn, which is a vampire movie.
Yeah, I haven't.
She's I'm a big fan of Salma Hayek as well.
How are you spelling this? Salma Hayek?
So, Salam Hayek Hayek, and then just type in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Ooh, I have to put that on my watch list. Yeah, that
Yes,
sounds
very good
brilliant.
movie. It's a very slow movie, so it's basically kind of almost like two movies in one. You think it's kind of like this heist movie,
Hmm.
but then it turns into a vampire movie, and it's
Oh,
fantastic.
fantastic! Sounds good. What about movie soundtracks? Is this something that stands out to you? Is there a particular movie soundtrack you can think of that um, really made a film?
I'm sure most people have probably mentioned like Star Wars and stuff like that, but I'm going to switch it and say Jurassic Park. Big
I don't. Do you
fan
know what?
of
I don't
the.
think anybody's mentioned Star Wars or Jurassic Park for these
Oh,
moments,
really?
and they
Oh,
have.
well,
They both have such phenomenal soundtracks.
oh, wow. Really surprised. I thought a lot of people would say Star Wars, but I'm gonna say Jurassic Park. I love
Mm,
the soundtrack of Jurassic Park 1 when they're flying in the helicopter, and I mean just the score for me. The
brilliant.
movie's amazing in itself, but the score as well is
Yeah, no, I
just
agree, 100%.
fantastic.
I think a lot of people, hark back to the sort of very classic Titanic, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. That's what comes to mind to a lot of people. So it's really nice to hear some, yeah, different. And I think
Yeah,
you're right. Both of them are phenomenally scored. But Jurassic Park, I mean, that theme tune is just iconic. Um,
yeah, love it.
yeah, definitely a big fan. Probably not Jurassic Park for this one. Is there if there is a movie universe you could be in, not necessarily part of the story, just living your life casually in the universe? What universe would you choose?
This one, I'm sure people probably have mentioned it, but for me, it's easily got to be Harry Potter. I would
Ah,
love
yeah.
to. I would love to be a wizard and go to all those stores and shop for my wand, eat all that candy, and just
Yeah.
see where the Sorting Hat puts me, and just kind of live through, kind of stay out of the, Harry Potter stuff with all the
Yeah, yeah.
wars and
No
all the
war or
stuff they
anything.
went through. Yeah, I'll
Just
just
chilling.
go to class, go to class. Hopefully, if I was in that universe, meet maybe my fiance is not a Mongol. Not a, what is it?
A mongrel, a
Not a
muggle.
Mongol.
Yeah, yeah.
A Muggle. There we go. Muggle. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's brilliant.
Um, there we go. And I meet her there as well. So Harry Potter, definitely.
I've determined that if the Harry Potter world was real and I was in it, I would be a squib, which is a son of two
Yeah.
magical people with no magical ability whatsoever because they'd be useless. That is just, I just have a feeling that would be what I landed on. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's such a wonderful world, though, right? It's well created, and I think I'd use magic for so many convenient things, like summoning a drink.
yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd get my wand and bring the dinner over here rather than having me get up, go grab
Mm,
it. I would do a lot of things with magic. It'd be great.
yeah, that'd be the life. Um, let's talk about the most important issue of all, of course, video games. Can you possibly narrow it down to a favorite game or game series of all time?
Yeah, so probably my favorite game of all time is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Hmm.
I'm a huge Western RPG fan, huge Star Wars fan as well, and just the way that game was, like there wasn't a Star Wars game at the time like it where you could obviously choose light and dark side. You were normally
Mm.
light side. You were always playing the light side of the storyline. So to finally get that kind of new IP and new storyline where I could actually be on the dark side and all the characters that are with me are putting their input like, okay, I don't like your choice, but you're just kind of like, whatever. It
Mhm.
needed to be done. And I mean, the gameplay is not for everybody. It's a turn-based style of gameplay. You don't control the lightsaber. You don't shoot the blaster. It's more of like of luck, where
Mhm.
like you're choosing the action and it's kind of playing out that way. But even still, it was a phenomenal series. As far as favorite game series, I would probably say Resident Evil, easily, hands down. As
Yeah.
far as the series that I've stuck with for 25 years, which is insane to think
I've
about.
only managed half of number one. I can't play horror games at all. I can watch other people play them though, so I've experienced quite a lot of the Resident Evil world, and I think it's beautifully created, and it's deep, right? There's not only
Yeah,
is there what you see on the surface, but there's also the lore behind it, and there's ongoing stories and threads, and then there's just the fact that the gameplay is thrilling, right? Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's
yeah. It, it,
phenomenal.
it like, just like to see. And I've played every single, besides the ones on DS and stuff like that. I've played every single Resident Evil game,
Mm.
on console, and good and bad. I played them all, so I've been with the series, for a very long time. So definitely, it's hands down my favorite series.
That's brilliant. And what game are you enjoying playing off stream at the moment?
So Mass Effect right now, like everybody, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You know, I started it on stream, and then I'm like, you know what? I can't. Like, so Resident Evil 8, I didn't play off stream. I started it on stream, finished it on stream. This game, I have to play it off stream. It's such a good game. It's not one of those games for me that I could wait to jump on stream every time and play it. The first game, I already just finished off stream. I 100% feel that even the second and third game, I'm probably going to finish off stream.
Yeah.
But there's a couple others too. So Ghost of Tsushima is on my backlog. I have to jump back and finish that game. But so those would be the games right now that I'm enjoying off stream.
Yeah. And what about multiplayer? If you're popping into a game with friends, what game sort of features on your, yeah, let's go play this with a bunch of people list?
It used to be Rainbow Six Siege, but that game's gotten so fucking toxic. I just can't.
It's true.
Honestly,
I know those feelings.
It's so hard. It's so hard to get back into that game. I tried, and it's just miserable. So, the Call of Duties, Fall Guys, Phasmophobia. Yeah. There's another game I just picked up on Steam called First Class Trouble. That's a lot of fun. It's almost like a Among Us style.
Oh, brilliant!
So there's been like a couple. Devour, another one. I like to play with friends. Pummel Party. So there's a couple on the list of multiplayer games I enjoy playing with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of those.
I've been jumping into Steam a lot more as of late.
Oh yeah, just sort of browsing and having a look and seeing what's around.
Yeah, just like people are recommending me like some multiplayer games that they've played, and they're not too inexpensive on Steam, so I'm interested in like jumping in and giving them a try.
Yeah, no, I definitely think a lot of us, certainly when I do games with viewers on a Sunday, it's it always seems to be the Steam games that, X person's got, Y person has got, somebody's gifted it to this person, somebody's gifted it to that person, eventually, 8 of you have it, and on we go. Pummel Party's a great one for that, it's got so much variety. What game really needs a remake in your eyes? Speaking of the Mass Effect remake, you could grab a childhood game and remake it today.
Yeah, so for me, it would probably be Dino Crisis, which is another survival horror game that's made by Capcom. They remade Resident Evil 2, they remade Resident Evil 3. I would really love for them to remake Dino Crisis, which is a amazing game. Think of Jurassic Park, Resident Evil. So
was Dino Crisis on a console?
It was on PlayStation 1.
Right, okay, because I've played it in an arcade. Like you'd play Time Crisis 2 or... There was definitely an arcade version of Dino Crisis in my local bowling alley. It was very short, but that's the only experience of the game I've had. So it's really interesting to hear it's came off a proper game. I don't know how I missed that one.
Yeah, and they've said that they were working on remaking it, then they debunked it and said no, we're not. So that's one game. I think a lot of PlayStation 1 games of my childhood I would love remade because I do enjoy going back to play them, but they also haven't aged very well.
Well, I don't think the PlayStation has in general, has it?
We've gotten so far advanced with controllers and obviously technology and graphics and stuff. It's really hard to go back, and some games don't even use the DualShock. You have to use that terrible D-pad. So, we don't really use that anymore to control our games. We use the analogs. So it's really difficult to kind of go back, but if I had to pick one, I would say definitely Dino Crisis would be a game I would love for them to remake.
You obviously were a PlayStation baby. What led you into video gaming? Was that your first console, or did you discover gaming from an earlier age?
So my first console actually was Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, but I started on Sega Genesis, and the first game I played was Street Fighter 2, which I really enjoyed, and then I got introduced into Mortal Kombat, which I enjoyed much more. But most of my childhood, I remember playing a lot of the beat-em-ups. Yep. So Power Rangers, Spider-Man and Venom, Maximum Carnage, the X-Men beat-em-ups. I was really into those games. Loved all those games. Super Star Wars, going back to a lot of those platformers, of course, Super Mario, Yoshi's Island. So those were my first taste in the video games, and then when I got into PlayStation, it was Resident Evil. That was like the first PlayStation game I remember watching my uncle play, and getting into it because I was such a big horror movie fan at the time. Also to see zombies and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very understandable line. The beat 'em up I remember that on Sega Mega Drive, I think it was the Captain America one with we had this. You had all the balanced characters, and then you had
Yeah.
Iron Man, who was just completely broken because nothing could hit him for the entire game because he could fly the whole way.
Yeah.
It was always my character. I loved that. It was one of the few times where I got to experience being good at a video game.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time was another big one for me as well. You know, just having friends over with the other controllers and stuff like that. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the best way of multiplaying. You know, co-op couch, if you like, or couch co-op as they call it.
And also, what pisses me off about those old games, right, is that everybody says, "Oh, the games are hard now." Like they talk about Dark Souls and Demon Souls and stuff. Go back to Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis and pop in The Lion King, pop in all these Pinocchio, Aladdin, pop in all those games that were geared towards kids. No, they were not. They were probably one of the hardest video games I've ever played in my entire life. So
I've often wondered if I went back and played some of those games as an adult, would I find them easy?
So I went back and played Super Star Wars. Nope, still exactly the same. I died a million times. The games are so much easier now than they were back then.
Well, out of curiosity for this very reason, I asked Steve-O to go back and play Rogue Squadron Leader, or Squadron Leader, Star Wars Rogue Squadron Leader, I think it's called. And this is the game that I remember having bought for 15 odd quid and never completing the second level on and never seeing the rest of the game and searching desperately for cheats to see the rest of the game and never achieving it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing whether he gets sort of stuck in the same situation. Those games were hard. I also had a Judge Dredd game as a kid. I don't think I ever saw the second level. I was, I was only 6 or 7 and the thing was damn impossible. Yeah, so I think you're right. I don't think it is that games are hard nowadays and they weren't. It's that the games that are hard these days are such standout features because most games are not hard these days.
And then we also have the thing of YouTube. You know, when we were younger, we had to go out and buy $20 strategy guides. Like we had to get the strategy guides and everything like that, which was pages upon pages.
Was it Prima Gaming? Was that the one?
There's Prima Gaming.
Yeah, that's the ones we used to have.
Yeah.
They were great. Help you through Pokemon.
Prima official. Here, I actually have one real quick.
Whoa, that is impressive.
This is for a game Fear Effect. So that's the...
Oh, that's awesome.
Prima strategy guide. So this is what we had to go out and buy.
Yeah.
$20 a pop.
I only had the one. I had Pokemon Red.
Yeah, we didn't have now everyone has YouTube and stuff like that to get through puzzles and stuff. We had to sit there and read through it. Yeah. And stuff like that. So
I think that's very true.
Kicking it back to the 90s there.
And you don't think anything of Googling it nowadays, do you? Oh, I'm stuck at this bit. Well, Google it, see what they do. And you think, geez, I couldn't do that back then. That's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
Or we had to ask our friends, hey, how'd you be? If we didn't get the strategy guys, we had to ask our friends, hey, did you get past this level? Yeah, okay, do you want to come over and help me?
Yeah, exactly, sure, right? That was, definitely the way. Yeah, that's crazy. Can you imagine that nowadays? Can you come over and show me how to beat this level? People would look at you so weird.
Yeah, like, dude, go on YouTube. I'm not coming over.
Yeah, we don't go out in these days. Who was your favorite character from a video game?
So, probably, it's a little bit more Master Chief. I mean, I would have to say at first Master Chief. No, that's what really got me into Xbox. That was the first game I'll say I got for Xbox. I know he doesn't really talk very much, but just a kind of what. I didn't play first-person shooters too much early on. There was Doom and stuff like that. But obviously this one kind of made a big expansion on first-person shooters to show you could have such a compelling story and a linear open world. So definitely Master Chief. And then probably Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series.
Oh, right.
I fell in love with because, just the type of character he is. He's just kind of this witty type of funny character who kind of makes a joke of the situation that he's in. Like if he's climbing up something, you know, I remember one of his quotes being like, "Oh, he's climbing shit." So like, you know, it's just kind of funny, and just to go through the entire series with him and seeing how he's grown as a character is just great. You know, I fell in love with him, you know, immediately right away. And I think a lot of the characters now with video games, they've become so compelling that we're resonating with those characters now, as opposed to, you know, we had the Super Marios and the Crash Bandicoots, but those characters to me felt more of mascots.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, rather than like, you know, they had a backstory. Like Mario's backstory is he's a former plumber who is saving a princess. Crash Bandicoot is, you know, Cortex.
We had a 25-minute discussion about what exactly Crash Bandicoot is the other day.
Exactly. So like more of the characters now, we're resonating with them. They have some of our personality traits that we like. So I would probably say those two characters for me, Master Chief and Nathan Drake.
I think they're both very good picks. Let's talk music. What is your favorite band or artist?
So band, I would probably say there's a band, Taking Back Sunday, I'm a huge fan of. A Day to Remember. If I'm going to go old school, I'm going to say Queen. I love listening to Queen. AC/DC, you know, like those type of music styles. You know, of course, if I'm going to go rap, I'm going to say Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Notorious B.I.G. So like the new school stuff, like rap, I don't like very much. No. So I'm more like, I still live in the 90s.
Is Lil Wayne still old school? Has he really become old school? Am I that old? Jeez. No, I know what you mean. He has the old style. He has the old style, even if he isn't an old school in terms of the 90s rap. Yeah.
Someone had that reaction to me the other day, and I'm like, crap. I mean more so like my teenage years. Yeah. Where like, there you go.
But yeah, that's some of the decade, but yeah, he's definitely got the oldest style. But yeah, I mean, I knew more. You're very much into the rocky stuff, aren't you? Sort of rocky, medley, on the edge somewhere.
Yeah, I don't mind like certain screaming music. I have to be in the right mood for it. So like if I'm in the right mood, I don't mind it, but it's not normally coming on my playlist right away.
So speaking in the rock moment, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're driving at night. You're going slightly too fast through a tunnel. Windows are down. You're feeling the moment. What's playing on the radio?
Down with the Sickness.
That's such a fantastic choice.
That
is driving music.
If no one's in the tunnel, I'm driving as fast as I can go. Down with the Sickness is 100% playing in the background. Fantastic. On full blast too.
I love it. And you got a bunch of people round. It's, you know, you finish the sort of casual eating moment, and it's time for a bit of a party. What's your party anthem? What's your go-to?
Oh, it's a very good question, because there's normally a group of my friends over to kind of get the party started right now. Oh, did it freeze?
Yeah, wait, sorry, we've got you. Sorry, yeah, obviously not today in COVID, you know, we don't really put everyone together, but if you just had to pop a party banger on and get the bodies bumping.
Probably Sicko Mode by Drake. That would be like a good like party tune to kind of kick off the night.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, you know, it's funny. I mean, I have a different group. I have so many different groups of friends that like certain music. So if I had a certain group of friends, Sicko Mode would definitely work. If I had other groups of friends over, I could throw on Taking Back Sunday, and that would get the party started.
Yeah, I think it's always hard to know sort of an exact genre. Yeah. I think there's a few songs that can genre cross. You know, there's very few people who can hear Uptown Funk, you know, the Mark Ronson track, and not sort of feel it a little bit. But yeah, I think you know, it's
my own Worst Enemy would work right if I'm gonna, you know, for any group of friends that I have over, my own Worst Enemy would always normally get the party started right away.
And once the party's winding down a little bit and the karaoke machine comes out, what's your karaoke song of choice?
So that would be My Own Worst Enemy or Don't Stop Me Now from Queen.
Well, depending on how much alcohol is in you, I'm assuming. That's not an easy one to sing.
No, it's not. I've done Fat Bottom Girls.
Mm.
Before I had enough alcohol, I only had a couple sips, and that was a little difficult. Bohemian Rhapsody I've done, but Bohemian Rhapsody obviously is slow, and then it has the ending. But yeah, those songs would be my go-to karaoke songs.
Fantastic. And apologies, but I'm stranding you on a desert island. You can't be rescued. You can't communicate. It's fair to say you've got everything you need. You've got your survival knife, your survival book, your compass. But unfortunately, no way of getting back to land. You've got plenty of food. But you can take a few possessions with you while we leave you there for 5-10 years. First of all, one material possession, obviously non-electronic. But something, some people have chosen a guitar, a photograph, etc.
Probably my stainless steel mug for water. So when I fill it up, it'll stay cold. I think it stays cold for about over 3 days, and it stays cold for over 3 days. And if I get something hot, it stays hot for about 72 hours. So that would be something that would bring something I would bring.
Yeah, it's a bit of joy there. One music.
See, I'm on a stranded island too, so it's going to be hot. So I need something cold.
Yeah, some cold spring water is keeping well in there. That's fantastic.
A music album. It's going to sound funny, but probably Evanescence's album that has "Bring Me to Life" on it, because I could listen to that song on repeat.
I believe the album's called Fallen.
Yes. Yeah. That one itself, I could. That's me, I think.
Yep, we're back. And that one album is, or just the one song, you were saying?
Yeah, just the one song I'm good with. But there's some good other ones. There's Going Under is not a bad song either. So
My Immortal.
I would. My Immortal. If I'm feeling crying myself to sleep, I'm on a strand.
You need a quiet moment.
Yeah, I'll listen to that.
One book.
I'm not the biggest reader, but probably Harry Potter. I'll read some Harry Potter.
Yeah, we'll allow you the whole series just to.
That'll get me through the day with 8,000 pages of stuff to read through.
Definitely. And finally, one person.
One person? The easy answer should be my fiance, right? But we're on a stranded island. I don't know.
Mine certainly would be my husband. I'm assuming I'm going to live, and if I'm going to die, I'm going to die with him, so I'm quite fine with it.
If I'm going to go the easy answer, I'll say my fiance.
Is she good in a crisis?
That's the thing. I don't know. So then, I'm gonna have to be dealing with that through that entire time, right? So if I'm gonna pick a funny answer, and I'll even tell him this too. I'll say Steve-O.
Oh.
I'll bring Steve. I'll bring Steve-O with me. So we could talk Star Wars the entire time, and we could argue about why Last Jedi is not a good movie. So I think that'll be.
I think he's one of the few people who would still have something to say after 10 years of being stranded with him on a desert island. Yeah, the man does not run out of things to talk about.
Exactly.
I think that's definitely a good shout.
I'm gonna need someone to talk with for 10 years. My fiance, we might run out of shit to talk about. So I'll pick the funny answer. I'll go with Steve-O.
That's a link out to Steve-O if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about. But why you'd be here and not know who Steve-O is, I don't know. So here you are on a desert island, with your stainless steel cup, with the Evanescence album Fallen, with the Harry Potter series, and with your fiance. What do you miss most?
I'm going to miss pizza, watching sports, because I'm a big sports guy. My friends, of course, family, those things. Probably video games, movies, my bed,
yes,
my cat. Who the hell's going to take care of my damn cat? He's over there on the couch sleeping, but who the hell's going to take care of my cat? Damn, driving. There'll be a lot of things, man. Just civilization, the bar, the bar.
I think it's wonderful that the first thing you said was pizza.
Yeah, and probably the bar too, alcohol. I would miss alcohol. I'd be 10 years sober because I don't know what the hell kind of alcoholic beverages I'd be able to have on a
Fermented
stranded
papaya. Yeah,
island.
never good.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just a long laundry list. But if I had to pick one, right?
Well, ideally.
Or just
But no, it's
ideally.
nice to see just a general
Yeah.
image of, you know, what you'd miss. But your first thing that came to mind was definitely pizza. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Getting to the nitty gritty, let's talk about you as a streamer. What made you first press the go live button?
So this goes back to 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
2016. Damn, time flies. So originally, I started as a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and we started as a podcast, and originally we were just going to stream our podcast, and then he said, I think that we should stream as well to kind of get the word out there that we're podcasters, and we could use that audience to get to the podcast. So we were big Rainbow Six gamers at the time. We played Rainbow Six Siege every single day.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment we got home from work, we ate dinner,
Mm.
we popped in Siege, and that's what made me hit the go live button, was to stream Siege. And I kind of got into it to be like, okay, I could show an audience some of the stuff of the games that I like, and I could talk games to other people in chat, because I watch people stream. I just didn't have the computer, obviously, at the time to do it. So I invested into a computer, got all that, and yeah, that's what got me to press the go live button, was to kind of show people I'm a podcaster and show people how, at the time, good I was at Siege, and also meet other people and stuff like that in the community.
What makes you a good streamer? Why should people come to your channel? Why should they watch?
You know, I think I'm very welcoming. I'm a very welcoming person. I love to meet new people. I love to hear, you know, about their day. I love to hear about other games that they like. You know, I like to spread good vibes. You know, I want to be that. I've always wanted to be that type of streamer that people say, you know, I had a bad day. Let me go to Pat's stream and let me, you know, settle down, you know, because he's, you know, playing Fall Guys and playing like crap, but he's still there having a good time with his friends. And he's listening to me. You know, I like to feel that I'm a good listener as well. So if someone's telling me about their day, I like to listen, and I like to, you know, kind of brighten their day up by me being a drunk idiot, and we're listening to good music and we're having a good time. And again, just be very welcoming. Anybody, I'm a very welcoming guy, and I always strive to be that streamer that is, again, welcoming. And I want to be that person that if someone is having a real shit day, that they could empty their mind and just kind of relax and come to my streams, and, you know, we could have a good time and just kind of forget reality for a moment.
What a fantastic.
Especially with the times that, you know, everyone's been going through with COVID and stuff like that. Like, I always wanted to, and like Twitter sometimes can be, I mean, not sometimes, Twitter can be really shitty, and everything that we turned on was very heavily, you know, just so much bad shit was happening. And I wanted to be that stream that was kind of like, I'm not talking about this stuff. We're here having a good time. We're here laughing and enjoying ourselves. That's what I wanted. That's what I want to be as a streamer.
Yeah, no, and I think you achieve it. I definitely do. What do you enjoy most about the streaming process?
Just meeting everybody. You know, I got to meet you through, you know, with Steve-O, and just meeting other communities, and just kind of, you know, I've grown more into having like game nights with everybody now. I think that's been a lot of fun. Before, I was kind of like not in my inner circle, but I always just gamed with my friends and like other streamers. I never really try to do such a thing, but now I've been doing that a lot more. Like, me and other streamers, we play Fall Guys, we do Phasmophobia, we do a bunch of different stuff. So the process I love is just meeting everybody, and, you know, we're chatting in Discords, and we're just random having like, oh, hey, how's your day? Like, you know, it's just that type of stuff is awesome. Just meeting other communities and being a part of other communities and building, you know, my own community as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people, for them, the streaming doesn't always start as a social thing. Some people start streaming because they have a business plan. Some people start streaming simply because they like playing video games. But you get attached, right, really easily, not only to the chat, but also to your raid system, to like the interlinking networks of different communities. On which note, you're part of the Monster Squad, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, Elias gave us a little rundown on her experience with the Monster Squad. How did you come to meet them? How did you get involved?
So I met Reanimator actually on Mixer. So
Alright.
I knew the Monster Squad way before they popped on Twitch. I knew a couple of them from Mixer, Reanimator, a serial killer. I met them on Mixer. I watched them then. So then obviously when they came to Twitch, obviously I followed along suit. And originally what happened was, Reanimator's like, I want to start a stream team. So, being that, I'm already familiar with, her content and I'm always in her streams and stuff like that. I was one of the first couple members that joined in, but on my other channel at the time. So what happened was there was different admins at the time, and I knew that Reanimate Her had a lot on her plate because she does it full time.
Yeah.
I'm more of a part-time streamer. So I said, hey, like, if you need help with some stuff, there's times where I'm not doing anything. I don't mind lending a hand. And I actually had an idea of Monster of the Month, which we're doing right now as well. So, I took ideas I got from another community that I was a part of, and I brought it over to them as well. So I'm one of the admins now. But I also take care of the Monster of the Month stuff that we do each month. So that's now my role kind of in there. But I met a lot of amazing people. Elias is one of them. She's my girl. I love giving her stone cold stunners in Discord. I've met a lot of amazing people.
She said it feels very much like a family. It's a very loving, supportive community, isn't it? So
it's a very loving. And the good thing is, like, I know it's called the Monster Squad, and I remember when I was kind of recruiting people to join, people were like, oh, I'm not a horror streamer. And I'm like, no, it's not. We're not all horror content creators. Like, I know our main, Reanimator is a horror content creator, but it's variety. Everyone streams whatever they want. Elias is, she streams Outlast and Phasmo, but then again, there's me and others that'll stream Fall Guys and they'll stream Call of Duty. Yeah. So it's a very open variety of streamers that are on there. It's not just horror or anything like that. We're just, me personally, I fucking love horror, so it's definitely the right family for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it's a community worth taking a look at if you haven't already. I know that you can access it through Rage's channel, which is, if I could type properly, just there. So you started off as a podcast, you say. Is that starting off as the In Our Mum's Basement podcast? What is the podcast about?
So it's strictly a video game podcast. So we will talk about, when it's episodes with just Dan and I, we will talk about game reviews. We will talk about gaming news that might have happened. Mostly everything that revolves around video games. So for an example, one of our episodes revolves around video games that were based on movies or movies that were based on video games. One of my favorite episodes because there's so many shitty movies based on video games. I wish it was longer than an hour because there's a lot to talk about. But it's one of my favorite episodes because it gave me the opportunity to shit on so many of the bad movies and stuff like that. So that's mainly the episodes. Kind of get to give an example. We also cover E3. So E3's on the horizon again this year. So we're going to be covering E3. We also have guests. So we've had, streamers, we've had YouTubers, and more recently we've had people that are in the video game industry. Like we had a voice actor. His name is Corey Marshall. He voices Ryo Hazuki in the video game Shenmue.
That's really cool.
We also just had Jed Shepard recently, who made the horror movie. He written the horror movie Host, and he's coming out with a live action video game called Ghost. Yeah. So we've kind of expanded a little bit on the guests that we've had. We have another guest that I haven't announced yet, but we're in the process of talking. Hopefully we can make it happen. But, as you know, we've had our good buddy Steve-O on there as well. So we've had, we like to have a lot of streamers on there and things like that. And, it's I love it. I love doing it. If it becomes something, it becomes something. If not, I would love to take it to my, whenever I have a kid, tell them like, hey, Dad did a podcast, and
This is what we did.
he loved doing it. Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's fun, right? It's fun at the moment. Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about. He goes by two names, right? Headshot Dan the Pizza Man. That's how I know him. Is that right?
So when we first started it, we were trying to figure out Dan the Pizza Man's nickname. So I was RageQuitPat because on Siege I raged all the time, and I did rage quit a lot. So that's where the name fit.
Never.
Then Headshot Dan started because he was good at getting headshots in Siege as well. But then the Dan the Pizza Man started because me, Dan, we all went out for Halloween. My fiance and her friends were there, and Dan was a pizza for Halloween. So my fiance and her friends started calling him Dan the Pizza Man. So every time my fiance saw him, she's like, "Hey, Dan the Pizza Man," or everyone just called him Dan the Pizza Man. So I just said, we were just like, "Dude, I'm so sorry, but Dan the Pizza Man is sticking." So that's your new nickname. So at first he was kind of like, no, I'm Headshot Dan. But then after a while, people in the community kept coming in and like, "Hey, what's up, Dan the Pizza Man?" So that's it. He had no choice but to. He's now Dan the Pizza Man. I think he embraces it now.
Yeah, 100%.
More so than he
100%.
embraces it now. Before he kind of didn't embrace it, but the community calls him Dan the Pizza Man at this point. So he just was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm embraced, whatever. I like pizza. He's like, I like pizza. I'm embracing it now. So.
And what makes it fun doing things with Dan?
So when we first started the podcast, I kind of was struggling to find a friend who was into it, that understood that, hey, it's a hobby, but it's also like there's work that has to go into it. Yeah. And he understood that a lot. And, our podcast is, both of us have our unique traits to the podcast. Mm-hmm. And what's fun about it with him is that, we're also friends in real life. Yeah. I think that's what makes it the best. It's not like I was on Craigslist and saying, "Hey, let's start a podcast together." Yeah. Me and him are friends in real life. And I think that's what makes it so much fun, as well, as that we're also, we can have a side conversation. We could also talk about the podcast. And I just think that doing it with my friend makes it a lot of fun. The most fun is that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And he definitely, there's definitely a rapport between you and him. And that gets, you get to see it on the podcast all the time.
And to hear that feedback, it was great. When we first started, we didn't have anybody giving our feedback. And, to hear that honest feedback that they love hearing Dan and I together, and we both feed off each other, because it took a lot of work, If you listen to our very first episode until now, it's night and day. Yeah. So, I mean, we're still learning, of course, with each episode and everything. We always love to learn and grow. So, that's the best part of it, too.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I'm going to bring you up with a lightning round. So, quick this or that. Just to get a bit of an image of what your preferences. Night or day?
Day.
Walk or drive?
Walk.
Silence or noise?
Noise.
Beach holiday, city break?
Beach holiday.
Forest or the mountains?
Mountains.
Facebook or Twitter?
Gosh. Twitter, I use it a little bit more.
It's my favorite question because it's always the one that stumps people. Dinner with friends or out to a party?
Dinner with friends.
Yep. Bath or shower?
Shower.
Outside of COVID times, online shop or visit the store?
Visit the store.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
And when you're sleeping, is the window open or closed?
Open.
Yeah. Nice. Now let's talk a bit of personal. What's your favorite place in the whole world?
So could it be a vacation?
Could be anything.
Yeah. So my favorite place was what I visited, Nashville, when me and my fiance went on vacation. I mean, it was such a good time. I mean, I'd never been to a place.
For those Brits of us, is that Nashville, Tennessee? Yeah.
Tennessee, yes. Nashville, Tennessee, yes.
That's a stretch for us.
There you
This is to me. I only know this as a musical place. What is it like as a?
Well,
as a real
yeah,
place?
it's very musical. I mean, every bar that you go into, there's live music, and I'm a big fan of live music, and it could be country, it could be rock. It's a good mixture of either or. And I'm not a big country fan, but it's just there's so many good vibes. Like everybody was there to have a good time. Like it wasn't a bar where I go around here where some people don't know how to drink or they're looking for a problem and stuff like that. Like people there were just there to have a good time. Nobody was bothering you. And the food was amazing. Like Southern style food. Just everything about that whole trip was fantastic. I loved every minute of that trip, and obviously get to share it with my future wife was amazing as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. What's your biggest fear in life?
Biggest fear in life? Always failure. It could be anything. Failure in streaming, failure at work. Failure in my relationship is great. Failure if I failed in that. Failure with any like if something happened with me and my friends. So it's just failure is something I fear the most. I don't like to fail. I'm really hard on myself when I fail at something. So failure.
Is it fair to say that's your biggest motivator to work hard?
Yes, as well. Yes, when I do fail at something, that does motivate me to work even harder to make sure that I don't fail at that ever again.
Sorry, I got something stuck in my throat.
No, that's okay.
And if streaming wasn't a thing, what would your career of choice be?
Podcasting. I can record it. I'll just record it then.
Record it and post it out. So it really is, you want to be in that sort of public domain, talking about and doing the things you love.
Yeah, and like I said, I do it for fun. When we first started, it was heavily business, and I think that's what made it somewhat toxic at the beginning. But now that we've gotten the mindset, let's do it for fun. We could promote stuff and things like that. But
what comes
now that when it comes, it comes. Now that we have the outlook, let's do it for fun. We enjoy doing it. Let's treat it like work, but in a fun way.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And what holds Pat back?
Myself. So, what, we were talking about off stream as far as changing up my content is more so like myself. Like, I don't want to go away from streaming RPG single player games or any of that type of stuff, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. And that, like we talked off stream, and I understand there's lurkers. I love my lurkers. I love them to death. But I go lurkers. We love you. I get my vibe gets more amped up when I'm having people in chat as well get amped up as I am. When it's not happening, I kind of just I'm cutting stream. I'm playing it off stream.
You get in your own head.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I get in my own head, and that is what normally holds me back, is I get in my own head a lot. And I shouldn't, right? I shouldn't. I should just kind of this isn't a full-time job for me. I'm just doing it as part-time as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest issue is just getting in my own head about things when I should just be like, dude, chill out. And people have told me, stop getting in your own head, just chill out and just...
It's never that easy, is it?
No, it's not. It's very tough.
What picks you back up off the floor and stands you back up?
Just kind of getting that motivation from people. When I ask advice from somebody, some of my peers, and they're just kind of like, dude, this, you just take it this way. Just calm down, just chill out, and just go with the flow. And what picks me back up is when I'm just kind of sitting down, gaming, and just not worrying about, who's watching, why isn't anybody chatting, why isn't anybody doing this? I'm just in my own element, and I'm just chilled out.
No, I think that's very fair. Who is your hero or your inspiration?
If I'm gonna go personal, my dad.
What makes him inspirational? Yeah, it's characteristics, not necessarily,
Yeah, he's just a tough. He's just was always like he was a police officer, and he was in the very bad. He worked in like a very bad area, so like his toughness and things like that. But all in all, when it came to me, he was dad, and he had like this tough demeanor to him. Like my friends always be like, "Oh, your dad looks very tough," but my dad's he's a teddy bear. He loves my friends. He jokes and laughs with my friends and stuff like that. So like I always, I don't have that tough personality that he has, but I've always looked up to him. And as far as like streamer type stuff, mostly a lot of people that I've met, so like kind of blowing smoke up your ass,
No, don't blow smoke up my ass. Go somewhere else.
I like coming to your streams because you're funny, you're hilarious. I like hearing,
Well, you see, I've made it easy for myself because all my content comes from the other people who feature on my stream. I just go, I'm me. Hello, right? Look at this hilarious person. It's nice and easy, right?
Just watching you play Overwatch and hearing you curse it's fucking, it's hilarious. But if I'm gonna blow smoke other people's asses, of course, Steve-O. I like going to Steve-O's stream because I also like busting his balls about, I get a kick out of it because like he knows I'm busting his balls and he whispers into his mic. He's like, "Okay, Rage," and then just like ignores what I say. Of course, Reanimator from their Monster Squad, Elias. A lot of a serial killer. The list goes on of a lot of streamers I look up to. I look up to all the streamers that I watch, to be honest, because every streamer that I watch has their own unique twist on their stream about
there's something you can learn from everyone you watch, right?
Yeah.
I definitely
and I'm not there for the game. When I first started watching streamers, I was there for the game, but now I've grown to be there for the streamer.
Yeah.
Like I could give a shit what game they're playing.
I think that comes as well from streaming, right?
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I that streaming one game is near impossible. Streaming only one game is just it's an ask.
I would blow my head in if I did so.
I think back to when I was like a pure League of Legends player, right? I played League of Legends for like 3.5, 4 years. Before that I played Guild Wars for like 6 or 7 years. I guess at that point it would have been fine, but nowadays I pick up a different video game every day. I wouldn't have a first clue what to stream as my one video game. So I think it has to be about the person, and I think that's something that is very true of a lot of the people that is, I wouldn't say our community because it's sort of like a couple of varied communities, but in the Steve-O community, in the Monster Squad community, you have a lot of people who are very unique personalities. So yeah, I definitely think that's a fair association. And what really just pisses you off? Just give us a rant. Little tiny things, big awful things. What pisses Pat off?
People who just are fake. I've never, and I'm gonna go personal, and I'm gonna go in streaming too. Like people who are fake and are just not genuine and are putting on like a facade of kind of like who they really are. Like I understand with streaming now, it's all about personality. Like, I think Dr. Disrespect kind of opened the door of, hey, like I could, you don't have to just be good at video games. You could also be this personality, this persona. And I never like that. I'm more of like the person, like I like to see that you're authentic, that you're real, even in real life. Like if you are putting on this fake type of personality, then fuck off. Like I don't like you. Like don't put on a show. Don't put on a show because you're trying to get people to like you. Like I never like that. I don't like a poser. Like, when people are posing that they love horror or Star Wars or any of the things that catch my interest, and they're basically being posers about it or fake about it. That's when it's like I don't like it. Or like, and then obviously personal, if you're basically just putting on a show, you don't like me and you're just pretending to like me and you're being fake, I don't like that either.
Yep, no, I think I can completely agree with that. Completely agree. And what makes you smile?
Yeah. You.
Oh no, not that. What else makes you smile? Pizza?
Yeah, pizza. Doing things. Hanging out with my friends, just drinking, having a good time. Knowing that I'm getting married next year makes me,
Do we have a date? for
Yes,
this?
December 11th, 2022.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Winter wedding, eh?
It's a Christmas winter wedding. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So like things like video games. Not all movies. Some movies piss me off. So that could go into piss off. That could go into piss off jar. Some video games piss me off too. That could go in there. But yeah, no, just talking with my friends. Watching my fellow streamers and stuff like that. Hanging, being with my friends, being with my fiance, being around my cousins, my family and stuff too. That also brings a smile.
Good things. Lots of good things. I'd like to take a couple of minutes to tell you what I like about your stream. In the meantime, if anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask away. Please be a little bit respectful. Just a smidge. So first of all, I discovered your stream, as you said, through Steve-O, and it was first of all the podcast. So I'll talk about that in briefness. You guys do your damn research. Like, there is no questioning that you are knowledgeable. And there comes, there's a sort of, I've done my research and I know that this and this has happened. And then there's, I've done my research and not only do I know that this and this has happened, but this is other people's reactions to it. I've got an in-depth opinion. You've got an in-depth opinion. So when you pop along for the gaming podcast, you're going to get not just information, but contextual information that you can understand as somebody who can't be asked to read anything at all, which I love. So when I come to the podcast, I love that side of things.
Thank you.
But more and more, I actually catch you streaming as opposed to podcasting. And this for me it's an interesting sort of, what's the word? An oxymoron, because I turn up late at night, nearly asleep, to watch you in your most, what's the word? Vivacious self. You're not a quiet guy, Rage. I think it's fair to say.
No, I'm not a very quiet guy. No.
I love the fact that you commit 100% to what you're doing, and whether that is you commit to your raging, you commit to your joking, you commit to your drinking, you commit to we're an all-in kind of stream, and I absolutely fucking love that. It feels like a party atmosphere. It feels like it is. You are there to have fun. And if anything's getting in the way of fun, they can go and fuck themselves. It's definitely, it's fun focused. It's, like you said, you are an incredibly welcoming person. I wouldn't hesitate if I was having a shitty day to say, hey, Rage, I'm having a really shit day. I'm going to sit here and lurk, make me laugh, which you will do automatically and instantaneously. But, it's also a place where I come and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm feeling great tonight. Let's go and have a party over at Rage's channel, And I think that's where your absolute forte is. I mean, you mentioned recently drunk phobia. This is, I'm assuming, phasmophobia.
Yes.
I think that's going to be an absolute hoot and a giggle. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me is it's 100% fun focused. And a lot of channels really struggle with that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't even begin to say that I'm fun focused. You get a lot of sort of serious content. You get a lot of, quiet moments where I'm just game and chill. You come into your channel and it doesn't matter if you're an hour and a half into stream or 3.5 minutes into stream. You're having a laugh and you're having fun. And I think that is such a joy. And
the thing about the being in 3 hours in stream, I'm already pretty drunk at that point. So then the volume's turned up a little bit more. But I appreciate that, and thank you. I don't hear it too often. Not that I normally ask for it, but I do appreciate that. It's always very good to hear that your streams do bring joy, and that, like I said, that's what I strive for, is for my streams to bring joy, and I want to welcome everybody.
And I think it's what you do it for, and that comes across in your stream. And yeah, I mean, for the other thing for me as well, you said that you don't get to hear it too often, and I think that's a shame. My favorite part of doing this interview is to be able to turn around and tell the people that I enjoy watching and have invited on because I enjoy watching them that I think you're fucking awesome. And
no, I appreciate that.
I think you're fucking awesome.
You're fucking awesome too. So there you go.
So yeah, I mean, if you don't already, I know that this will also come out through in the YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you have a little look in the chat box right now, you'll find Rage's Twitch link up the top right as well. And through there, you can get all the links to all the things. If you want somebody to make you laugh on TikTok, go and check out the TikTok. I think I caught you the other day praying to the Halo theme. Was this correct?
No, so that's the gamer national anthem.
The gamer national anthem. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah. I got to start doing it. You know, I've had a couple TikTok ideas, but I just been like so lazy.
I can't do it.
To do them, so I should do them more. I've seen a couple streamers blow up because of it, so I should do it a little bit more.
Shoulda, woulda,
I just get lazy.
But that is on TikTok is hilarious.
Yeah.
You can also find the website for the podcast. You can find the podcast itself and all the links there within Rage's Twitch channel. So it's twitch.tv/RageQuitPat. You're listening to it on YouTube, and the link will be in the description below. And if you're here, thank you very much for being here, for joining us for what has been a long time coming. We've been in this chat for a while, but I didn't want to have you too close to the Pirates versus Pancakes. You know, we'd be you'd be here all the time. So no, it's fantastic, and I look forward to doing more stuff with you in the future.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you inviting me on. This is actually my first time being interviewed, so it was awesome. You know, normally I'm doing the interviewing, so it's I really appreciate it.
Nice
thank you for inviting me on. And then, yeah, we got to schedule that drunkophobia. I know you said you won't be drinking, but it's okay. You don't have to, but you do have to drink a liquid.
We drink a liquid. Drink lots of a liquid.
There you go. You have to at least drink a liquid, and when it is your time to drink, you just have to drink anyway. So it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that. That'll be great. And so many other, what do we call these things? Interactive streamer to streamer interactions. Let's call it that. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to catch up on a couple of administrative things, and it's been such a joy having you here, Rage. It always is. It always will be.
And again, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Elena. Thank you.
He says, deleting half your chin. That's all right. Thank you very much. And we shall see you soon.
Take care.